I was in this comfort zone, as we all are. Our ego keeps us in this comfort zone because we deem that as safe,
Yeah.
even though it's not our conscious desire. For example, a lot of people are in debt, but the reason why we're in that is that actually feels comfortable because that's what we learned growing up is that habit of staying in debt. So what I started learning about is something called a hidden advantage. A hidden advantage is the hidden benefit of why you are where you are. It's illogical. It makes absolutely no sense. But once I started finding the hidden advantage to staying in things I didn't actually consciously desire, things shifted so much.
Welcome to the Danette May Show, where you'll receive profound breakthroughs, courage to break old patterns, and live into your soul's purpose. Each week, I will bring you epic guests and live coaching to remind you of your power. You have the ability to achieve extraordinary things, and the time to start is now. Today on the Danette May Show, I'm joined by Marley Rose Harris, a holistic business coach and subconscious reprogramming guide who helps women create aligned success without burning out in hustle mode. Marley's work is all about rewiring the beliefs beneath the surface that keep you stuck so your goals stop feeling like a constant uphill climb. She blends deep inner healing with grounded strategy to help you grow a business and life that actually feels like you, clear, confident, and free. If you're ready to lead from your highest self and make moves that feel expansive instead of exhausting, you're going to love this conversation. Let's dive right in. Marley, I love having you on and just reading a little bit about your endeavors to really bridge this entrepreneurial world with also giving to your inner world. Because the
Mm.
entrepreneurial world is all about serving, go, go, go. I mean, sounds like we both have lived that world, but you're bridging, it sounds like, that internal landscape with what
Mm.
you're putting out in the external landscape. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's such a good way of putting it. Those entrepreneurs are like inspiring entrepreneurs, and then they start entrepreneurship. They're like, what is going on? I'm like, I know. It's the most spiritual journey that you can go on because it takes a mirror and it puts it right in front of your face. And every insecurity, every fear, every doubt gets mirrored back to you in clients, in opportunities, in rejection, in navigating this landscape where everyone looks like they're succeeding on the outside, which creates so much comparison and doubt and imposter syndrome. And I think, I mean, I don't know where I'd be if I wasn't an entrepreneur, but becoming an entrepreneur has taught me the most like that I will ever learn, I believe, like in this lifetime, because it's actually a journey of self-growth and self-development. So you should choose and say yes to this journey. I think it's the best journey you can go on. And I'm constantly like every day as I mean, everything has duality, right? So there's like,
Right.
I'm in Mexico, it's amazing, da, da, da," and then I still have things going on that I'm working through myself. So there's duality in everything. And it's just like the decision that you decide, like, yes, I'm going on this journey and I'm going to choose to work through the duality because of a bigger purpose and a bigger mission.
Yeah. What is your purpose and your mission?
I believe that I am here to show people how to move past their fears and doubts and insecurities, like we spoke of, and really inspire and motivate those to create their dream life, whatever that looks like for them. And that comes off maybe like a little bit cheesy or fluffy, but it's not because
Yeah.
I believe that we are all here. We have been given this life mission and this purpose, right? And we all know that feeling inside of ourselves. And we also grow up in a society where we're programmed with fear and doubt and feelings like we're not enough and feelings like we don't deserve, which is all just lie. Fears are false evidence appearing real. And I got so sucked into that for so long. And then I started learning about this world and how to reprogram your limiting beliefs and how, like, to use subconscious reprogramming. And then started creating this life for myself, which is completely illogical. It makes no sense. Anyone who met me like 10 years ago is like, or not even like 5 years, honestly, like 2 years ago, is like, what is going on? Like, how did you accomplish? Like, how are you doing this? And I'm like, I'm just like reprogramming my limiting beliefs. Like, what are you guys doing? They're like, we're not doing that. And I think it's like providing these tools so that people can realize that they have the power and the capacity to create whatever life they dream of. And I was just on an interview last week that was like my 8-year dream. Like I have been dreaming of this for 8 years and it happened last week. So I had this like newfound motivation, desire of like anything that you desire is truly possible. Like the craziest thing that you can even think of and desire is absolutely possible for you if you just never give up on it and you just keep believing that it will happen. It inevitably at the perfect moment will happen for you. I just don't want anyone on this podcast or whoever comes into contact with me to ever believe that they have to suffer, that they have to struggle, that they have to settle, because that's just a lie that they're believing in. And I have the tools to change those beliefs within literally 22 minutes. And that's what I feel like I'm here to do, is just inspire people that they can have, do, and be whatever they desire, no matter how crazy it may seem right now. Because I've proven to myself and with my clients so many times that miracles happen every single day and anything is possible. And like we're only here once, so why not truly create this hell yes frequency in all areas of life?
Oh, I love this. And you said something that I think is really powerful, that if we saw you 2 years ago, we'd be like, whoa, you're a different human. And I want you to speak to us. What were some of the ways you shifted? Like, who were you? Let's start there. Who were you 2 years ago? And then how did you shift to the behaviors, the patterns of the person you are today?
I would say the biggest thing, and this is something that I've just realized recently because I'm traveling with my assistant and she was just wondering, like, when did the money start coming through? Or when did the things start changing? And that really hit me. I was like, yeah, when did I start really changing and really, like, to your point, just not even recognizable 2 years ago? And it was that I started finding my hidden blocks. I was in this comfort zone, as we all are. Our ego keeps us in this comfort zone because we deem that as safe,
Yeah.
even though it's not our conscious desire. For example, a lot of people are in, I don't even like saying the word, but DEBT, in debt. And that's a lot of the things I help my clients clear and reprogram is getting out of debt. But the reason why, and I was in debt for a very long time, why we're in that is that actually feels comfortable because that's what we learned growing up, is that habit of staying in debt because that's a survival mechanism that we're used to and we keep recreating that program. So what I started learning about is something called a hidden advantage. And a hidden advantage is the hidden benefit of why you are where you are. And it's illogical. It makes absolutely no sense. But once I started finding the hidden advantage to staying in things I didn't actually consciously desire, things shifted so much.
So
For
let me stop you there because that is
yeah,
really, really gold. Hidden
yeah.
advantage. So let's do your debt, for example. Let's take
Okay.
some really tangible, because you just said it's illogical, but you found them. So you sat down and you were like, okay, I don't want to be in debt, but I am in debt. What is my hidden advantage for being in debt? Tell me what you
Yes.
found for yourself.
Okay.
I
I'm like,
imagine it's different for every person, right?
yeah. So I'm literally vibrating, if you can see me on video, because I'm so excited to answer this question. So this is the most interesting thing that I've found with debt. So what I noticed, and I clear this with my clients all the time, this wasn't the case for me, but I had a really unique situation. So I'm going to share like the most common thing because I think it will resonate with the most amount of people. So I was like clearing all my clients from this hidden advantage from debt. And I just noticed everyone had the same thing. And I was like, this is the coolest thing ever because now that I can share this with you, it will resonate with the most amount of people. And then they can find that and clear that on their own. So this is so interesting. So most of my clients that came to me that were struggling with debt or even not being able to break past more than enough had a history of their parents bailing them out, or their parents would always take care of them had they made a purchase that was unsuccessful, let's say, or if they had this amount of money on their credit card, their parents would bail them out, or there's some sort of pattern where their parents would come to their rescue. So they created this hidden advantage that for them having debt, it creates this connection with their parents, usually
Oof.
the father figure. And so if they resolve themselves from the debt, they won't have that connection with their parent anymore. And remember, we're talking subconscious, right? This is
Right.
not in the conscious mind. This is not logical. It's completely illogical. But our subconscious mind is our survival mechanism. It creates beliefs to keep us safe. And that part of your brain creates illogical connections in order to feel safe and loved and protected. Like your subconscious mind doesn't know what like $1 million is. Like it's like, oh, like it's here for survival is not here for thriving, right? And so survival is to stay connected to your family members and your tribe because that's what keeps you safe and that's what back in the day protected you from not dying, right? Like if you were separated from your family back in the tribal days, you literally died. And we still have that mechanism inside of ourselves. So now we're operating in 2025 with this like caveman, survival energy, and we're making all these illogical beliefs to keep us safe. But on the conscious and on the 3D, we're like, what's going on? No matter what I do, no matter what business I have, I keep staying in this pattern of debt. Well, what I'm noticing is that it's from a lot of these people who have this connection and belief, thinking if they stay in the debt, then their parents won't leave. The love from their parents won't leave. It's often something to do with the love will leave. Some connection will break if they break through the debt. But we all know that that's not true. Like, no matter what, your parents love your soul. They don't love your bank account, right? Like,
Right.
you can't break that bond. Money doesn't break that bond. So once I reprogram my clients with that new belief, then they break free of debt forever, permanently moving forward because they no longer have that hidden advantage.
Wow, that's really fascinating. So could this also be tied to feelings of wanting to be seen or liked in your tribe? So you get into debt because you're buying certain things that you think will make you feel seen and loved as well. And so if you don't have those things, you might not get love. So even if you're dealing with someone who's maybe in their 40s, 50s and their parents are older, passed on, they're still not bailing them out, but they might be still holding on to those deeper insecurities or those deeper patterns, like you said, a hidden advantage, which is I'm still included with the tribe of my friends because they think I have money.
Exactly. And I'll tell you an exact story. So one of my clients was coming to me because she could not get out of overdraft and she was just so over it. And I was like, okay, what would be so scary about being in abundance, like having more than enough? And she was like, I don't know why, but I feel like I would lose something. I would feel guilty. So, anyways, I did my method, the clear the fear method, which is how I clear limiting beliefs. And we went back to the exact moment, and she was on the playground. And all of the kids around her were making fun of the rich people. And they're like, oh, they're rich people, they're bad. And so she created that belief in that exact moment because you don't come to this planet with these limiting beliefs, we learn them, right? And so she created a belief in that moment. Actually, there's nuance to that because you can get passed down limiting beliefs through generations. And so that's not exactly true. But most limiting beliefs are in this lifetime. And she learned that when she was, I think it was like 6 or 7. I can't remember the exact age. It was like last year. And she created a belief, well, if I have money, then I'm going to lose my friends. And
Yeah.
so we cleared that belief and we reprogrammed that. And literally, when she came out of the clearing, she got a message from this new client that agreed to a new package that she was offering that permanently got her out of overdraft moving forward. It was wild.
Wow, that's really cool. I actually had to do that too when it came to money because I grew up being told that wealthy people weren't spiritual and that wealthy people it would change them, that money would change you and move you away from God. It was one of my bigger things that I had to really work on was around making money. Like I never had trouble making impact, but making impact with money because I just didn't want to ever lose my connection to source or my connection to God. And so I had to break that pattern. So I totally understand that. That's awesome.
That's
I
so
love it.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Tell me another thing when you were 2 years ago and how did you break it? Give me another example.
This is probably the thing that I hope and intend that will resonate with the most people. My thing is that I grew up never thinking that I was enough, and it showed. For example, I was 20 pounds heavier. I would attract relationships that would make me feel like I'm not enough. I would feel like no matter how much money I earned, it was never enough. And I was in this like constant chasing cycle to feel like I was enough. And it showed, like you can see it in me energetically, a version of me who maybe didn't believe that she was enough. And it was actually when I started working with my clients that I noticed that the biggest block that I'm seeing amongst all clients, no matter where they are in the world, no matter how much money they had, no matter what it was, that they believe that they weren't enough. And I was like, wow, I wish that they could see themselves the way I see them because they're incredible, they're beautiful. And then I was like, whoa, am I even seeing myself for how much value I offer and how worthy I am? And how just by being me and not having to look a certain way or accomplish a certain thing or do a certain thing, that I am enough. And I started to reprogram that belief that I am enough. And it's just like true miracles happen. Like relationships come in that make me feel like the most love I've ever felt, right? And money comes in abundance in ways that doesn't make logical sense. And there's always more than enough. I truly think that that's a lifelong journey of raising your identity and raising your worthiness and raising your enoughness. And I'm excited to be on that journey. But from 2 years ago to today is a completely different universe that I'm living on. And I really believe that's from really now instilling like my own value and seeing my own value and knowing that I am enough just as I am. And it was so funny, like as I started to reprogram that, people were like, Marley, what is going on? Like you look so glowy or so radiant. Like, did you do something? Like what? And I was like, I just started to believe that I'm more than enough. And it's like completely changed my physical appearance. It's changed how I show up as a mentor, as a partner, as a friend, who I allow and what I allow into my life, because I know that I'm more than enough. So I'm no longer willing to accept anything other than that. And it has honestly made the most profound shift. That's why when I work with clients, pretty much I wish I could, like, if I could have like a banner that was like just in the universe and in the sky all the time. I wish that it says like you are enough just as you are.
Wow, how did you reprogram that? What is this method that you use to believe that? Because I think everyone fundamentally would say, yeah, I recognize I don't feel enough. I think this is probably the biggest thing in most humans is this
Right?
undercurrent of not enoughness. And but they're like, how do I get there? How do I actually move myself into actually believing I am enough? Like, what did you do?
I love your questions. I'm like literally on the edge. I'm like, can't wait. I'm like gonna vomit it up. So excited. Okay, so there's a two-step process. The way I like to describe this, I'm sorry, it's kind of like a disgusting example, but imagine you have a cut in your hand and there's glass in it. So most people, when they have a wound in this world, they'll just put a band-aid over it and then expect the glass to go away. So they try to get a nicer house, they try to get a better relationship, they, get a nose job or whatever it is to try to feel like they're more than that. It's like a band-aid solution. And then they get the thing, and then for a moment in time, like the bigger house, the nicer car, the more money, and then they for a moment they feel like enough, but then they'll always go back down to how they used to feel because that's trying to fix an inside problem from the outside. It doesn't work that way. We live in an inside out world. You need to fix the inside to reflect on the outside. So my process is really like firstly taking out that glass, removing the glass, putting on the ointment, and then putting on the band-aid. So getting to the root cause of the problem is removing the glass. And the root cause of that problem is a limiting belief. You've been taught that you are not enough. You have been programmed to believe a lie that you are not enough or not worthy. Because think of babies, they're the most worthy enough beings in this planet. They cry, they get food. In the middle of the night, they're screaming their head off. They don't give a crap that their mom's sleeping. Like they're so in that worthiness and deserving. They don't cry and think, oh, should I not cry? Am I going to make mom tired? No, they're screaming their head off. They don't care, right? And then over time, unfortunately, through society, we get taught that we're not enough, and it's not true. So the first part of this method is clearing and reprogramming the belief, the lie that you are not enough. Okay, so I use that through my method, Clear the Fear. It takes 22 minutes and it's the most effective way to clear a limiting belief. Okay, so we have to get rid of the old. We have to remove the glass. That's step one. Okay, then we need to put on the ointment and put a band-aid over for it to heal moving forward. And I like to say this is like fine. When you get a guitar, you tune it to its tuning. And then every time you play, there's like a little fine tuning, right? So without that old limiting belief, we get to create a new positive belief. So we can't just get rid of it and think, okay, now I'm more than enough because your brain is like, wait, what just happened? I don't know how to use, like, where do I go now? I have this empty wound. What do I fill it with? So we're filling it with ointment. So I have a method called neural linking, and this is how you create a new belief. So it's called neural linking because it's a neural pathway. And how the brain works is that all we need to do is we need to link a thought to a feeling. And when you link that, it creates a new neural pathway. So a thought to a memory or to a feeling. So what I would get my clients to do is I would use the phrase, how am I more than enough, just as I am? That question is what your brain now will go to answer. So every single morning, let's say you were my client, you came to me and you want to believe that you're more than enough. I would say, okay, great. every single morning, I want you to read this affirmation, which is, how am I more than enough just as I am? Then I'm going to get you to recall an experience that proves, or a memory that proves that that is true. So, for example, let's say, okay, well, I have my dream home, or I have something, a memory or experience that proves that you are enough just as you are. You could think of, well, I have the most loving partner, my dream partner, and that proves that I am enough just as I am. Or I'm living my soul purpose. I've attracted my soul purpose. And that makes me feel like I'm enough just as I am. Okay. It's going to be different for every person. I'm just giving some examples. Or if you're like, Marley, I don't know what you're talking about. I've never felt this experience before of feeling like I'm enough. Then I would get you to visualize or imagine, what would your life look like for you to know and believe that you are more than enough just as you are. Okay. And then the golden rule is, feel that feeling for 17 seconds. You have to feel it in your body. That is like the blueprint, that's the compass for your subconscious mind. So you visualize it, you feel it, and you do that every single day until you believe that you are more than enough. And I, like, my clients freak out. Okay, they're like, Marley, what is this like magic that you're I'm like, it's not magic, it's not a coincidence. Like, you are actually creating a new belief. And like, everything that I know to be true is that when you create a new belief, your reality has to change. It's not like magic, it's not a coincidence. It's just using the power of your brain to change your reality. It's been proven like a million times over that your beliefs create your reality. So knowing that, okay, all we need to do to change our reality is change our beliefs. And when you actually, because the reason why I created this method is because everyone was like, okay, if you want to change your reality, you have to change your beliefs. I'm like, okay, how? And like, no one was teaching me how. And I was getting so frustrated. And I'm a Capricorn. So I'm like, I need the result now. Like, I want to know how to do this now.
You need a formula. Okay.
Yeah, I need like step by step, like, this is how you do it and this is the result. So I'm like, okay, I'll figure this out because no one else seems to be telling me. So that's how I create that method, and that's how you create a new belief and clear living belief. It's, I mean, I could give you a million examples of just like the transformations and like seemingly miracles that have happened, but it's not a miracle. It's just leading into how the world works. It's playing the game.
Wow. So the first step you said was you have to clear that glass. So that is finding the limiting belief, right? Is that what you said? You have to find that mirror, that limiting belief, that where did it come from, basically? Where were you told something? Where did you witness something that created the limiting belief? And then you're going to link up like a neural link, you said, of taking, I'm quizzing myself on this because I know that people are like, wait, I want to make sure I get this. Like, you're basically going, okay, you're telling yourself a phrase every single morning. Why, wait, what was the phrase again? Why am I enough just as I
Yeah.
am?
You can say how or why. Just if you want
How
to
am
make
I
it.
enough just the way I am? What's my example? And then you think of the examples. And if you can't think of an example, then you say, what would make me feel that I'm enough? And then you embody that feeling for 17 seconds. And that's
Yeah.
what you said to do every single day
Yeah. Until you feel it.
until you feel it. Is that it? Is that kind of the formula of what you kind of
That's
did
it.
every single day?
Yeah.
Wow, that's really awesome. That's
Yeah.
really
And
awesome.
like, super, just to make this like super simple, step one is you need to clear the limiting belief, and step two is you need to create the positive empowering belief. And
Right.
how you do that is, step one, you use clear the fear, and step two, you use neural linking, just to make it super
Okay.
clear. But you
Okay.
can do this with absolutely everything. You can
Hmm.
do this with money, you can do this with your desired relationship, dream body, skin, everything. Is step one, clear the limiting belief, and step two, create the desired reality. Like, create the belief that you do want to believe to create that reality. You can manifest everything in your entire life, in all areas of life, with those two steps.
Wow. What do you feel is the greatest manifestation that you've created using these steps?
Oh, it's such a good question. I'm like, there's so many.
Or what one do you think of first, I guess I should say? Because, like you said, how do you quantify what's the best one?
I know. I think the one that makes me most, like, could bring me to tears, like, as I share it, is I grew up in a household that I never felt like I was a part of a family. I know it sounds so weird. I lived in a home, I had a mom and a dad, but I never felt this feeling of family. I never wanted to be home. There was a lot of chaos and a lot of neglect. And I know my parents were doing their best, and it was like they were just doing their best, but they didn't love each other. And so I grew up always wanting to run away and never wanting to be home, just craving love so badly, just wanting so badly to feel loved. I mean, in hindsight, that's what I know I was doing, but I was just always like trying to get this attention and I could never get it because my parents were going through their own journey. And that taught me that I need to find my own self-love. And, when I found personal development and when I found this world, I was like, oh, okay, if I want that, I have to create that within myself, right? And so I used this method to clear the limiting beliefs that I had around having a home, having a family, having a loving, healthy relationship because I never saw that growing up. I didn't see love growing up. I didn't see commitment growing up. I didn't see people working through things and getting stronger and having communication that just didn't exist. And so I kind of thought I was just doomed forever. I actually was like, I was pushing it all away. I was like, I would rather be on my own, independent, and then no one can ever hurt me kind of thing. But on a deep, 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 deep soul desire, like having this feeling of family was like the one thing I wanted so badly. And I didn't even know that I wanted it because I didn't even know what it felt like. And when all my friends were like, yeah, I'm hanging out with my family, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, why would you want to do that? And then, clearing all those limiting beliefs and reprogramming and really, I would say honestly, stepping into my own self-worth and my own feelings of enoughness, I became a vibrational match for a partner that is like far beyond what I ever thought possible. Also a vibrational match for loving his family so much and like finally feeling like I have this family feeling, even though they're not my blood, but I've now felt this feeling of family. And there's no amount of like I could say all the money stories in the world, but like there's no amount of money or first class flights or like five-star hotels. That's all amazing and I love all that stuff, but there's no amount of money that can even put a price tag on this feeling that I now get to experience, which is like this feeling of love and family. And I think out of everything I've manifested, that is like the most special to me and my inner child who has like wanted this her whole life. And I would say out of everything, that's like been the most profound for me and the most sacred.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. It's very vulnerable, but like, wow, so beautiful. And I know so many people who can actually relate to that. And you said a phrase in there that I think is going to really hit is that you were like, I don't even know what that looks like and feels like. And my formula is to feel it, but I've never been shown it. And so you had to somewhere find an example outside of you to embody that emotion, to attract that. And that's bold, it's scary because at the fundamental of everything beyond money is this desire to be loved and to feel that feeling. And it is actually the greatest emotion, a greatest gift any of us can actually achieve. I agree. It's really
Mm.
powerful.
I know. And because most of my clients come to me because they want to attract more money. And I love that. And I work with some amazing, incredible women who are incredible at what they do and so powerful and so intuitive and just these magical angels walking on this earth. And they also are going through that journey of attracting that equal in their partnership. And that is my favorite thing to attract because I just know how like, I was like, "Oh, yeah," like, I had a client say to me, like, "I think it's gonna be easier for me to attract $100 million than my soulmate," and I'm like, "Challenge accepted," and, like she was able to do that, and it's just, like, as much as I love the money and things, but creating family, I mean, that's just so transformational, and that makes me so excited and so happy.
I imagine it's very much correlated. You know, we think that they're separate, but at the fundamental base of every manifestation is a feeling of worthiness, right?
100%. And that's the really interesting and fascinating thing about limiting belief clearing is that limiting beliefs don't just choose one area of life. Like you don't just feel not enough in just like finances. Like
Yeah.
that shit goes everywhere. They're
Yeah,
like spread everywhere. So it's in your
totally.
relationships, it's in your body, it's in your mind, it's in your career. It's in if you have one limiting belief, it doesn't discriminate. It goes in all areas of life. And
Yep.
that's the really powerful thing. People come to me and they're like, "Okay, wow, we're doing all these money clearings and then they're losing 10 pounds out of nowhere and like all these other things are happening." I'm like, yeah, because once you have that belief it then spreads in. That's the positive thing about it, changing them is that it also spreads in all areas of life and then you get to improve in all 8 areas. So to your point, like if you clear that one wound, like that will have a dramatic impact on all areas. And I would honestly say, like, if you're new to this work and you're like, where do I start? Because that was also my feeling. I was like, when I first started clearing my money beliefs, I was like, I'm going to be here for like 100 years clearing all this stuff. But if you just start with, this feeling and this fear and this lie of not being enough or not being worthy, that actually, I believe, if you could just work on one first, that will have the most dramatic positive impact on all areas of your life.
Wow, so powerful. Wow, this is so fascinating. Well, what I want to do in closing with Marley on this episode is invite you guys to tune in onto the very next episode. You're going to want to click follow right now because you're going to hear Marley speed dial like a coaching session. Like obviously when she's working with clients, she goes longer, but we're going to like see if she can pinpoint your question. Basically, you're going to find your question in this question of this client on the next episode. So make sure you click follow and tune in and let us know that you've been following this by tagging Marley, tagging me. You can find all of her information in the show notes. But in closing, Marley, I have a question for you. It's your last day on this earth. And you are in front of millions. You can't even see how far the bodies go. And you have one final thing to say before you exit this earth plane. What is that message?
I want people to know that they are more than capable, worthy, and able to attract anything that they deeply desire. And it is in their ability to have that dream that they're thinking of. And anything that tells them that they're not or can't, or this is enough, or I'll just keep it as it is, or why should I even dream that, is a lie. And I really want them to know that it is in their power, it is for them, and their desires are waiting for them. They just have to choose to accept it. And if I could say anything, it's just I truly want you to know that everything that you're dreaming of is possible for you. It's on your heart because it's meant for you. And when you start aligning yourself with that, you will be able to create a life that like your brain actually right now can't even comprehend how good it's going to get. And I need you to know that so that you stop settling for less than you desire.
Wow. Thank you for that, Marley. That was really powerful, very beautiful. You guys, like I just said, if you want more Marley magic and a little bit of her coaching, I'm going to take her through a 10 to 15 minute where I'm going to run a scenario. I'm going to fake play one thing that I know so many of you are going through with her and have her coach me using your questions through it. So thank you, Marley, for being on the Danette May Show. You guys, thanks for sharing this out. We love hearing from all of you, and we'll see you on the very next episode.